Every landscape holds a softer story beneath its surface. It is a story you can only hear when the day loosens its grip, when sounds grow fewer, and the world begins to breathe more slowly. Somewhere between the fading light and the first deep shadows, nature lowers its voice. In that quiet, even the smallest wings can be felt. Tonight, imagine a warm evening settling gently over the land. The air is calm, the sky dimmed to a tender blue. Leaves rest without movement. Flowers close their colors for the night. And far above, or perhaps just beyond the horizon, a quiet journey has already begun, one guided not by urgency, but by instinct, memory, and the patient rhythm of seasons. Welcome to sleepy nature's sleep, where the wild grows soft and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts follow the rhythm of the earth, your breathing settle like evening wind, and your mind wander gently through the quiet wild. This is a place where learning does not rush, where discovery feels like resting beneath a tree rather than climbing a mountain. You do not need to hold on to details. You do not need to remember names or dates. Simply allow the story to unfold, like water finding its way downstream. In this gentle space, we often gather as quiet companions, listeners from many places, resting together in the same calm moment. If you find comfort here, you are already part of that circle. And if this journey brings you ease, you may choose to return again, or offer a small sign of support that helps keep these peaceful stories flowing, like a stream that never quite runs dry. Tonight's story begins small. It begins with a bird no heavier than a leaf, no louder than a whisper. A hummingbird, bright in the sun, but nearly invisible in the dusk, rests somewhere far to the south. In the warmth of Central America or Mexico, it waits, not with impatience, but with quiet readiness. The seasons are shifting. The earth is turning. And without maps or clocks, something ancient stirs within its tiny body. There's no rush in this movement, no sudden call, only a gentle knowing that the light is changing, that the days are slowly lengthening, and that the path north will soon open again. From southern lands to the edges of the United States, and later to distant Canadian provinces, these small travelers will drift with spring itself, arriving not all at once, but softly, as if they are part of the season rather than visitors to it. As we begin, allow yourself to follow this migration, not with your mind, but with your breath. Slow, light, steady. Let the idea of movement feel restful, like clouds passing overhead while you remain still below. The night is wide, the story is gentle, and the hummingbirds are already on their way. Before the first wing lifts into the air, before the season changes its color, there is always a question resting quietly beneath the surface of the world. It is not a question spoken aloud. It does not arrive in words or thoughts. It lives, instead, in the spaces between moments, like the pause before a breath or the stillness before dawn. What calls a tiny bird to move when winter has not yet finished speaking? Somewhere in the warm air of Central America or Mexico, a hummingbird rests on a thin branch. The night is calm. The temperature is gentle. Flowers still offer nectar. There is no urgency here. Nothing is missing. And yet, something subtle has begun to shift. The leaves above this resting bird hold their quiet vigil. They have seen many seasons pass. They remember rain and sun, storms and silence. Beneath them, Life continues in slow, patient rhythms, and hidden within that rhythm is a signal so soft, it feels more like a feeling than a message. The light arrives a little differently now. Morning lingers just a touch longer. Evening waits before settling in. These changes are small enough to be overlooked by hurried minds, but in the body of a hummingbird, they settle gently, like dust drifting into place. There is no command, no alarm, only a quiet awareness that the world is slowly turning toward something new. Nature rarely asks its questions directly. Instead, it invites attention. It allows answers to form over time, shaped by warmth, by light, by the steady patience of the earth itself. For the hummingbird, this question does not demand an immediate response. It simply rests there, alongside the heartbeat, alongside the breath. A sense that somewhere north, fields are preparing, that buds are forming without being seen, that air, still cool and distant, will soon soften enough to welcome small wings. As you listen, you might notice similar questions drifting through your own awareness. They do not need solving. They do not require effort. They are simply part of being alive within a changing world. What does your body notice when the day grows quieter? What do you sense when the light shifts toward evening? What changes arrive without asking anything of you at all? The hummingbird does not hurry to answer. It continues to rest, to feed, to sleep, and in doing so, it allows the question to become clearer on its own. This is the way of the wild. Questions unfold gently, answers arrive softly. As this journey continues, let that question remain open, like a leaf held loosely in still air. There's no need to follow it too closely. Simply let it be present, hovering quietly, as the season prepares its next slow movement northward. Before any journey can be felt, it helps to see the land itself, wide, patient, and unhurried. Not as a map with borders and distances, but as a living stretch of earth that changes its mood slowly, almost imperceptibly, as seasons pass. Imagine the southern landscapes first. Warm valleys where morning light settles gently on flowering trees, quiet gardens, forest edges, and open hills where color remains even through winter. Here, the air rarely feels sharp. It moves softly, carrying the scent of blossoms and damp soil. This is where many hummingbirds spend the colder months, resting within abundance, woven into a world that asks very little of them. As winter loosens its hold, this land does not change all at once. Instead, it exhales. The sun lingers. Shadows soften. Plants respond with small, almost secret movements, buds swelling, stems stretching just slightly higher than before. Nothing announces these changes. They simply happen, as if the land itself is remembering how to become spring. Farther north, beyond these warm resting places, another landscape waits. The southern United States begins its own quiet transformation. Fields that once slept under cool air begin to warm. Gardens stir. Rivers run a little freer. Flowers open not in crowds, but one by one, like careful invitations. Still farther north, into higher latitudes and cooler skies, the land remains patient. Canada's southern edges hold on to winter a bit longer. Snow retreats slowly. Soil darkens with moisture. Life prepares itself beneath the surface, unseen and unhurried. All of these places are connected, not by roads or lines, but by timing. Spring moves across them like a long, gentle wave. It does not rush. It does not stop. It simply continues, touching each region in turn. For hummingbirds, this landscape is not something to conquer or cross quickly. It is something to move within, to respond to follow quietly. Each place offers rest at the right moment. Each bloom appears when it is ready. The land itself becomes a guide, unfolding step by step. As you settle into this story, allow the idea of distance to soften. This is not a tale of miles traveled or challenges overcome. It is a story of alignment, of small lives moving in time with large, steady patterns. You do not need to picture every detail. Let the land remain slightly blurred at the edges, like scenery seen through half-closed eyes. Warm south, waking middle ground. Cool north, waiting its turn. The journey ahead does not begin with flight. It begins with understanding the space that holds the movement. And in that understanding, everything feels slower, calmer, and easier to follow. The land is ready. The season is turning. And the story continues, carried gently forward on the quiet shape of spring itself. In the gentle warmth of winter, life does not disappear. It simply softens. Far to the south, where the sun still rises with kindness, hummingbirds spend their quieter months woven into landscapes that feel steady and unchanging. The air here carries warmth even in early morning. Flowers continue their slow work of opening and closing. Insects drift lazily through light that never feels sharp or hurried. A hummingbird rests on a slender branch, small enough to sway without sound. Its body is light, almost weightless, as if it belongs more to the air than to the wood beneath its feet. There is no reason to move far. Nectar is nearby. Shelter is easy to find. The world feels complete just as it is. Winter in these places does not demand endurance. It offers continuity. Days follow one another without drama. Feeding becomes a familiar rhythm. Hover, sip, pause, rest. Wings fold. Breathing slows. Even the heart, so often quick and bright, finds moments of gentle steadiness. This season is not about preparation in any urgent sense. It is about maintenance, about remaining present within abundance. The hummingbird does not count the days or measure the future. It lives inside the now, guided by the steady availability of warmth and bloom. Around it, the landscape moves quietly. Leaves fall and return. Rain arrives without insistence. The sun traces the same familiar arc across the sky. These patterns offer reassurance, like a repeated melody that never grows tiring. At night, the world dims into deep blues and soft shadows. The hummingbird finds a safe place to rest, allowing its body to grow still, conserving energy without effort. The darkness feels protective rather than empty. The hours pass without being noticed. For those listening, this wintering time mirrors a state of rest many long for, a place where nothing must be decided, where movement is optional, and where being is enough. There's no need to anticipate what comes next. The season holds everything gently in place. Even now, as spring slowly gathers strength elsewhere, this warmth remains a quiet sanctuary. It allows the hummingbird to remain whole, to stay balanced, to exist without strain. Soon, the light will change just enough to be felt. But for now, there is only this moment: warm air, steady flowers, soft nights, a small bird resting within a world that asks for nothing more. Let your thoughts rest here as well, in a place where time feels generous, where stillness is natural, and where waiting feels like peace rather than pause. The journey will come later. For now, the air stays warm and rest is exactly enough. Change rarely announces itself. More often, it arrives quietly, blending into what already feels familiar. In the warm southern landscapes, mornings begin just as they always have. Light slips gently across leaves. Shadows loosen their grip. Flowers open without ceremony. And yet, something subtle has begun to stretch. The day is growing longer, not by much, not enough to be obvious. Just a few extra moments of brightness lingering at the edges of morning and evening. To most creatures, this change passes unnoticed, but to a hummingbird, it settles softly into the body, like a slow and steady whisper. There is no thought attached to this awareness, no decision forming, only a gentle recognition that the rhythm of light has shifted ever so slightly. Dawn arrives with a bit more patience. Dusk waits before fully settling in. The sun's path feels marginally wider, more generous. This lengthening of the day does not rush the hummingbird, does not pull or push. It simply rests alongside daily life, becoming part of the background, like a familiar sound you don't realize you've been hearing until it fades. Feeding continues as before. Hovering remains effortless. Rest comes easily. And within these simple actions, the body quietly adjusts, responding in ways that feel natural rather than deliberate. Nature uses light as one of its gentlest languages. It does not shout. It does not insist. It offers information slowly, trusting that living things will respond when they are ready. Plants do the same. Buds swell almost invisibly. Stems lengthen without drama. Leaves prepare themselves to open wider, guided by the same soft signal drifting through the air. The hummingbird becomes part of this shared response, not separate from it, not leading it, simply moving in quiet agreement with the land. For the listener, this moment invites a similar awareness. You may notice how evening light changes in your own space, how shadows stretch differently across walls, how the day seems to release its hold a little more gently than before. There is no need to act on these changes. Just noticing is enough. The hummingbird continues to rest. It does not yet travel. It does not prepare in visible ways. It allows the lengthening day to settle fully, trusting that clarity will come in its own time. This is how many natural shifts begin, not with motion, but with perception. A small change noticed, a quiet understanding formed, a readiness that grows without effort. As the light continues its slow expansion, let your own breathing follow that same easy rhythm. Inhale gently, exhale slowly. Let the day stretch and soften around you. Nothing needs to happen yet. The signal has been given, and the world is patiently listening. Before any long movement begins, there is a quiet phase of gathering, not collecting in haste, not storing with urgency, but receiving slowly, steadily, and with ease. In the warm air of the southern landscapes, the hummingbird moves through familiar paths. Flowers open as they always have. Nectar waits patiently, shimmering inside blossoms shaped perfectly for small beaks and hovering wings. Each visit feels unremarkable, part of a rhythm so well practiced it barely registers as effort. Hover, sip, pause, rest. These actions repeat throughout the day, not as preparation in a human sense, but as continuation. The hummingbird does not think ahead. It does not imagine distance or direction. It simply meets what is offered, allowing nourishment to arrive in small, frequent moments. This is how fuel is gathered in the wild, not all at once, but gently layered, like soft light building toward midday. Tiny amounts of sweetness enter the body, becoming warmth, movement, and quiet strength. Nothing feels excessive. Nothing feels lacking. Between feedings, the hummingbird rests. Perched in shade, it allows stillness to settle through its feathers and bones. The heart, often quick and bright, finds moments of calm steadiness. Even energy here is not something to chase. It arrives naturally through balance. Around the bird, the landscape participates in this slow exchange. Flowers bloom at their own pace. Insects drift lazily. The sun provides warmth without intensity. Everything feels arranged for continuity rather than change. At night, when the world dims, the hummingbird's body grows even quieter. Movement fades. Breath softens. Energy is conserved not through effort, but through surrender to rest. Darkness becomes a companion, holding the small body safely until morning returns. For those listening, this part of the journey mirrors a deeper kind of nourishment. Not the kind that fills schedules or satisfies goals, but the kind that restores quietly through repetition, gentleness, and patience. It is a reminder that strength does not always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives as consistency, as allowing enough time, as trusting that small, steady care is sufficient. The hummingbird does not rush this phase. It remains within it as long as the land allows. The lengthening days continue to offer their signal, but still, there is no hurry. Fuel gathers itself naturally when life is lived in rhythm. Energy grows quietly when rest is respected, and readiness forms not through striving, but through calm continuity. As this story moves forward, let your own body settle into that same understanding. You do not need to prepare for anything. You do not need to store or plan. For now, it is enough to receive what is offered: soft breath, gentle stillness, and the quiet feeling of being fully supported by the moment. When movement finally begins, it does not feel like a beginning at all. There is no sharp moment, no clear dividing line between staying and going. Instead, there is a soft drift, so gradual it might go unnoticed if you were not paying gentle attention. The hummingbird does not wake one morning with urgency in its wings. The air still feels warm. Flowers still open as they always have. Rest remains easy. And yet, a subtle openness has formed in the days, like a door that is no longer fully closed. One morning, the bird lifts into the air and follows a path slightly farther than usual. Not far, just enough to feel new. The movement is light, almost playful, guided less by intention than by comfort. The world still feels familiar, only widened by a few quiet degrees. This is how the northward drift begins, not as a leap, but as a leaning, not as departure, but as gentle extension. The hummingbird continues to feed, to rest, to pause. Each day resembles the last, yet each carries the faintest hint of change. Flowers appear in slightly different arrangements. The angle of the sun shifts subtly. The air, while still kind, carries a whisper of something cooler beyond the horizon. There is no sense of leaving something behind. The southern warmth does not vanish. It simply releases its hold. allowing the bird to move onward without resistance. Migration, in this moment, feels less like travel and more like following a current already in motion. The landscape supports this softness. Valleys open gradually. Forest edges offer shade and shelter. Streams reflect light in ways that feel reassuring rather than distracting. Everything seems to say, quietly, "You may continue when you are ready." At night, rest remains deep and complete. The hummingbird settles into stillness, conserving energy not for distance, but for continuity. The body knows how to move in increments small enough to remain calm. For the listener, this first drift offers permission. Permission to change without forcing change. Permission to move without declaring movement. It is a reminder that transitions can be nearly invisible, shaped more by comfort than by decision. You may recognize this feeling in your own life, the moment when something begins to shift, not because it must, but because it can. A natural easing forward, a sense that staying still and moving on are not opposites, but parts of the same quiet flow. The hummingbird does not look back. It does not look ahead. It remains within the present, allowing the land to guide each small extension northward. As the story continues, let yourself follow that same drift. There is no need to know how far it goes. For now, it is enough to notice the softness of motion beginning, a movement so gentle it feels almost like rest itself. As the days continue to unfold, the hummingbird moves beneath skies that feel both new and remembered. The air shifts subtly with each gentle extension northward, yet nothing feels unfamiliar enough to cause unease. The sky remains wide and patient, holding the small traveler without judgment or demand. There are patterns here that have been followed before, valleys that open softly, river paths that reflect light in calm, unbroken lines, stretches of land where flowers appear just as expected, offering color and nourishment at the right moment. Though the hummingbird does not recall past journeys in the way humans remember, its body recognizes these pathways. Movement feels guided rather than chosen. This sense of familiarity is not loud. It does not announce itself. It arrives quietly, like a feeling of comfort in a place you have never consciously visited, yet somehow know. The sky above feels generous, neither too high nor too heavy. The air carries the same gentle resistance, allowing wings to move without strain. Migration here feels less like crossing and more like continuation. The hummingbird is not passing through obstacles. It is moving within a pattern that has been laid gently across generations, shaped by seasons repeating themselves with patient consistency. Each pause brings reassurance. A branch appears where rest is needed. A bloom opens when energy begins to soften. Nightfall arrives calmly, allowing stillness to return before it is ever fully depleted. For those listening, this part of the journey speaks to the comfort of rhythm, how familiarity can exist even within change, how moving forward does not always mean leaving everything behind. Sometimes it means stepping into a path already softened by time. The hummingbird does not hurry across these skies. It moves as if the space itself is inviting rather than urging. Clouds drift without drama. Wind flows smoothly, never insisting on direction. The world seems arranged for gentleness. In these moments, migration feels like trust. Trust in the land to provide. Trust in the body to respond. Trust in the timing that has carried countless small wings before. As your own thoughts begin to slow, allow them to rest beneath this familiar sky. You do not need to imagine distance. You do not need to picture endpoints. Let the idea of movement feel held and supported, like being carried without effort. The sky remains open, the path remains soft, and the hummingbird continues forward, guided by memory written not in thought, but in quiet sensation. There is nothing to solve here, only something to follow gently as the journey flows onward, calm and unbroken. Along the gentle northward drift, there are places where movement naturally slows, not because energy has faded, and not because anything is missing, but because rest is offered so clearly that it feels natural to accept it. The hummingbird finds these places without searching. A patch of blooming flowers appears at the edge of a meadow. A quiet garden rests beside a stream. A forest opening allows sunlight to reach the ground in soft, dappled patterns. These moments do not interrupt the journey. They become part of it. Here, the air feels balanced, not too warm, not too cool. The day holds a steady calm. Nectar gathers inside blossoms as if it has been waiting patiently, unconcerned with timing. The hummingbird hovers lightly, feeding without urgency, letting sweetness arrive one small sip at a time. There is no rush to continue. There is no pressure to remain. The pause feels complete on its own. Wings rest. Feathers smooth themselves gently. The tiny body settles into stillness that feels deeply familiar. Even the heartbeat, so often quick and bright, eases into a quieter rhythm, content within the safety of abundance. Around the hummingbird, life continues in soft layers. Bees move slowly between flowers. Leaves stir with minimal sound. Water nearby reflects light in calm, repeating patterns. Everything seems arranged to support rest without effort. Night arrives gently in these places. The hummingbird finds shelter among branches or beneath leaves, where darkness feels protective rather than empty. Stillness deepens. Energy is conserved not through effort, but through surrender to the quiet. For the listener, this pause offers permission. Permission to stop without explanation. Permission to rest without having earned it. In nature, pauses are not rewards or delays. They are essential rhythms woven naturally into every journey. Migration does not demand constant motion. It allows space. It honors the body's need for stillness as much as its capacity for movement. These resting places are not destinations. They are breathing spaces, gently holding the traveler before releasing it again. The hummingbird does not linger longer than feels right. When the time comes, movement resumes just as softly as it paused. No signal announces departure. The land simply shifts its offering, and the bird responds in quiet alignment. As you listen, imagine yourself resting in one of these blooming places. You are not behind. You are not waiting. You are exactly where you need to be. Let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts settle like petals drifting onto calm water. The journey continues, but for now, the pause is enough. As the gentle drift continues, the land begins to feel slightly different beneath the hummingbird's wings. The air carries a new texture, still welcoming, still soft, but touched by the early promise of spring. This is the southern edge of a wider awakening, where the season arrives ahead of itself, testing the world with warmth. Here, spring does not arrive suddenly. It enters quietly, like a guest who knows the house well. Gardens begin to stir. Fields loosen their winter rest. Trees offer the first small hints of green, careful and unhurried. For some hummingbirds, this is where the northward movement gently slows. As early as February, these southern regions provide what feels like a natural resting point. Flowers bloom in scattered clusters. Nectar flows again, familiar and dependable. Shelter is easy to find, and the days hold a comfortable balance of light and shade. There is no sense of arrival marked by effort. The hummingbird simply finds itself within a place that feels ready to support daily life, ready to hold small routines, ready to welcome wings that arrive without announcement, feeding resumes as it always has, hovering, sipping, resting. The rhythm remains steady. Nights are cool, but not cold. Darkness settles softly, wrapping the land in calm. The hummingbird rests easily, allowing the body to adapt to this new, yet gentle environment. Around it, the southern landscape moves with similar restraint. Rivers continue their slow flow. Breezes pass lightly through trees. Insects appear without hurry. Everything feels balanced, as if the land and its visitors are meeting each other halfway. For the listener, this moment reflects the comfort of reaching a place that feels suitable, not because it was planned, but because it fits. There is ease here, a sense of being held by conditions that do not ask for adjustment or resistance. The hummingbird does not yet think of nesting. It does not settle fully. It simply exists within this softened version of spring, letting the season continue its slow expansion northward. Time remains generous. Movement remains optional. Nothing insists on the next step. As you follow this part of the story, allow yourself to rest within that same feeling. A place that welcomes without expectation. A moment that does not require progress. The journey is not finished. But here, in the early warmth of the southern United States, the hummingbird pauses once more, held gently by a spring that is still learning how to arrive. Spring does not arrive all at once. It moves the way breath moves through the body, slowly, quietly, and without sharp edges. From the southern lands where warmth has already settled, the season begins to stretch itself northward. Each day carries a little more light. Each night releases its coolness with less insistence. The land responds in small, patient gestures that are easy to miss unless you are moving gently enough to notice. The hummingbird remains attentive without effort. It does not watch the calendar of the world. It does not anticipate distance. Instead, it senses the gradual softening of the air, the way mornings feel slightly less heavy, the way flowers open with more confidence than before. This unfolding is not dramatic. It does not rush across the landscape. It lingers. It pauses. It allows every place to receive it in its own time. Fields farther north begin to stir. Trees that once held bare branches feel a quiet readiness beneath their bark. Streams run a little freer as the earth loosens its grip. Even the wind changes its tone, losing the sharpness of winter and carrying something gentler within it. The hummingbird responds not by leaping forward, but by remaining available. When the land offers more blooms, movement continues naturally. When rest is still provided, the bird remains still. Migration here feels like listening rather than deciding. For the listener, this stage of the journey invites a similar kind of awareness, noticing without tracking, feeling change without naming it, allowing progress to happen without measuring how far it goes. There is comfort in knowing that nothing must be forced. The season will continue its steady advance whether it is watched closely or not. The land knows how to prepare itself. The hummingbird knows how to respond. Days lengthen just enough to feel spacious. Evenings remain calm, settling slowly rather than closing abruptly. Night still offers deep rest, wrapping the world in quiet continuity. In this gentle expansion, the journey becomes less about moving from one place to another and more about staying in harmony with what unfolds naturally. There is no single moment that signals the next step. The path reveals itself gradually, shaped by readiness rather than ambition. As you listen, let this slow unfolding mirror your own descent into rest. There's no need to arrive anywhere tonight. There's no need to follow the entire journey. Simply allow the sense of spring spreading outward, touching fields, forests, rivers, and small wings, and feel how everything moves together without urgency. The land opens, the season continues, and the hummingbird remains gently aligned with the quiet flow northward, carried not by effort, but by the steady patience of spring itself. As spring continues its slow advance, it does not move as a straight line. It moves like a wave, soft at the edges, widening as it travels, carrying color and life gently forward. The hummingbird follows this wave without seeing it. There is no single sign that announces its presence. Instead, it is felt through small changes layered together. Green deepens along roadsides. Buds open more freely. Flowers appear not in bursts, but in steady succession, as if the land is quietly keeping time. Each bloom becomes a soft marker, each leaf a subtle invitation. The hummingbird drifts from one flowering space to the next, never far from nourishment, never separated from rest. Movement happens naturally when the land offers more ahead than behind. There is no calculation in this response, only alignment. The green wave carries more than plants. It brings sound as well. Insects hum faintly. Bird songs return in gentle patterns. The world feels awake, but not loud. Alive, but not demanding. Here, science blends into sensation. The timing of blooms, the warmth of the soil, the lengthening of days, all of it works together quietly, creating a pathway that does not need to be marked. The hummingbird does not need to search for the way forward. It is already moving within it. When the bird pauses, green surrounds it. Leaves offer shade. Stems sway lightly. Nectar waits patiently. There is no sense of scarcity, no sense of competition, just continuity. This wave does not rush past those who move slowly. It stays long enough to be felt. It allows space for rest, for repetition, for familiarity. Even when the hummingbird remains still, the season continues to prepare what comes next. For the listener, this moment invites trust. Trust that progress does not require effortful pushing, that the world, when given time, arranges itself to support gentle movement. You may notice this wave in your own life, in how mornings soften, in how evenings stretch longer, in how the body responds to light and warmth without instruction. These changes do not ask anything of you. They simply arrive. The hummingbird remains within this green motion, never ahead of it, never behind it. When flowers fade in one place, others open quietly farther on. The path remains continuous, like a story told slowly, without skipping pages. As your breathing slows, imagine this green wave passing beneath you, not carrying you away, but holding you exactly where you are. There is nothing to catch up to, nothing to miss. The land provides, the season guides, and the hummingbird rides the wave gently northward, resting whenever it wishes, moving only when it feels natural to do so. Everything unfolds in time. To understand how a hummingbird moves through the world, it helps to soften the idea of seeing and replace it with sensing. This is not a life guided by sharp focus or constant alertness. It is a life shaped by gentle awareness, where many small signals blend together into a calm, continuous experience. Color arrives first, not as detail, but as presence. Reds and purples glow softly against green leaves. Yellows rest in the corners of fields. These colors do not compete for attention. They simply exist, offering quiet guidance toward nourishment. The hummingbird does not name them. It responds the way water responds to light, naturally, without effort. Air moves differently for such a small body. Every shift is felt, not as resistance, but as texture. Warmth wraps gently around feathers. Cooler currents drift past like passing thoughts. The hummingbird adjusts without thinking, hovering where the air feels most supportive. Sound, too, is part of this layered awareness. Not noise, but tone. The low hush of wind through leaves, the distant murmur of water, the soft presence of other creatures sharing the same calm space. None of it demands attention. All of it contributes to a sense of safety and continuity. Touch is subtle. A branch offers balance. A leaf provides shelter. Even light itself feels tangible, resting on wings and back like a gentle weight. The world feels close and intimate, scaled perfectly to a small life moving slowly through it. There is no single sense that dominates. Everything blends together, forming a steady field of experience that does not rush or sharpen. This allows the hummingbird to move without tension, to rest without vigilance, to migrate without stress. For the listener, this sensory world offers an invitation to soften perception. You do not need to focus on any one thing. Let sounds blur gently. Let images fade at the edges. Let sensation become atmosphere rather than detail. As the hummingbird drifts within this quiet awareness, its journey continues almost effortlessly. It is guided not by plans, but by comfort, by ease, by the subtle pleasure of being well placed within the moment. Breathing slows, movement remains light. The world feels supportive rather than demanding. Allow your own senses to settle into that same gentle balance. You do not need to track the story closely. Let it pass through you the way light passes through leaves, softened, filtered, calm. The hummingbird continues northward, carried not by urgency, but by a steady, sensory harmony with the land. And as the night deepens around you, that harmony remains, quiet, continuous, and easy to rest within. When the sun lowers and the colors of the land soften into shadow, the journey pauses without ceremony. Night does not interrupt the hummingbird's movement. It completes it. Darkness arrives gently, like a blanket laid carefully across the world. As evening settles, the air cools just enough to feel refreshing. The hummingbird finds a quiet place to rest, tucked among leaves, sheltered by branches, held securely within stillness. There is no searching, no urgency. Resting places seem to appear naturally, as if the land knows when it is time to grow quiet. The body responds by slowing. Wings fold close. Breathing softens. The steady warmth gathered through the day is conserved with ease. Even the heart, so often quick and bright, eases into a calmer rhythm, trusting the night to hold everything in balance. Around this small resting place, the world also settles. Wind moves more slowly. Insects soften their sounds. Water continues its gentle flow, barely audible in the distance. Nothing feels active. Nothing feels empty. The night feels full in its own quiet way. For the hummingbird, these hours are not lost time. They are essential. Stillness restores without effort. Energy returns without thought. The body remembers how to be quiet, how to release motion completely. This nightly pause is part of the migration itself. Movement is measured not only in distance traveled, but in rest received. Each night offers a deep reset, allowing the journey to continue without strain. For the listener, these nights mirror the descent into sleep. There is no need to review the day, no need to prepare for what comes next. Darkness arrives not to demand, but to soothe. You may imagine yourself resting beneath the same sky, protected, unwatched, supported by the simple fact of being still. Your breathing can slow naturally, matching the gentle pace of the night around you. Stars may appear softly overhead, or clouds may drift silently past. Either way, the sky holds everything without effort. Time feels less important here. The journey pauses without stopping. The hummingbird remains motionless, secure within the calm. Night passes not as something to endure, but as something to sink into. As you listen, allow your own thoughts to rest in that same way. There is nothing left to follow closely. The story continues on its own. Darkness deepens, stillness spreads, and both bird and listener are held quietly within the gentle pause of night, preparing, without hurry, for the soft return of morning. Morning returns without surprise. Light spreads gently, touching the land in wide, patient strokes. The night releases its hold slowly, allowing shapes to reappear without sharp edges. The hummingbird stirs, not abruptly, but as if waking is simply another form of rest. Ahead, the land opens. Wide spaces unfold, fields stretching toward distant tree lines, open valleys where the sky feels larger, rivers tracing calm paths through low ground. These places do not feel empty. They feel spacious, offering room for breath, for light, for unhurried movement. The hummingbird moves through these open areas with the same calm rhythm it has carried all along. Wings lift, hovering resumes. Feeding happens where blooms appear, even when they are scattered rather than clustered. There is no concern about distance. The openness itself feels supportive, allowing motion to flow smoothly. In these wide spaces, the air moves freely. Breezes drift without insistence, touching wings lightly, never pushing. The sky stretches overhead, soft and steady, creating a sense of ease rather than exposure. Movement feels simple here, as though nothing is in the way. The land below offers subtle guidance. A line of trees marks a river. A gentle rise hints at shelter beyond. Flowers appear where water has lingered, forming quiet resting points within the openness. The hummingbird responds naturally, adjusting without thought. There is something deeply calming about this kind of movement. Nothing crowds the senses. Nothing demands quick decisions. The journey feels continuous, like walking slowly across a quiet room where everything is already familiar. For the listener, these open spaces invite the same feeling, a sense of room within the mind, space between thoughts, a widening calm where nothing presses in too closely. You may imagine yourself drifting across these fields as well, not traveling quickly, not aiming for a destination, but simply moving within a broad, gentle landscape that allows you to relax into each moment. The hummingbird does not hurry across the openness. It allows the land to pass beneath it at its own pace. Rest arrives when needed. Movement resumes when it feels natural. Open spaces teach a quiet lesson. That emptiness can be restful. That distance does not have to be crossed all at once. That the sky can feel like support rather than exposure. As the day continues, the hummingbird remains light and unburdened, moving across the wide land as if it were floating within it, rather than crossing over it. Let your breathing slow as well. Let your thoughts spread out gently. The open spaces do not ask for effort. They offer room, and within that room, both journey and rest feel equally possible. As the journey continues, the air itself becomes a quiet presence, never demanding attention, yet always there. Wind does not arrive as force or challenge. It drifts softly, shaping movement without being noticed, like a gentle hand resting at the small of the back. For the hummingbird, wind is not something to resist. It is something to feel. A slow current passes beneath wings, lifting slightly, easing effort. Another breeze slides past, cool and smooth, offering balance rather than direction. The bird responds without thought, adjusting posture in ways that feel natural and unremarkable. There is a rhythm here. Air moves, wings respond, stillness follows. Nothing happens suddenly. The wind never interrupts rest. When the hummingbird pauses on a branch, the air continues its quiet motion around leaves and stems, never insisting that the bird move again. Even motion knows when to soften. Across open fields and along forest edges, the wind carries familiar scents: green growth, damp soil, distant water. These subtle signals blend into the background, not guiding, not warning, simply existing as part of the landscape's gentle voice. At times, the breeze moves in the same direction as the hummingbird's drift, making flight feel almost effortless. At other times, it shifts slightly, inviting slower movement, a longer pause, a deeper rest. There's no sense of opposition here, only conversation. This companionship with the wind reflects a larger truth in the natural world. Not everything that moves around us is meant to push or pull. Some things exist simply to accompany, to remind, to support, to soften the edges of motion. For the listener, this section offers a sense of ease. Imagine the air in your own space moving gently, through a window, across your skin, or simply in your awareness. You do not need to control it. You do not need to notice it closely. Let it be present, doing what it does best. The hummingbird remains calm within this moving air. There is no need to hurry when the wind is patient. There is no need to struggle when support arrives quietly. Even as the journey stretches onward, nothing feels heavy. Motion and rest remain balanced, held gently within the same invisible current. As your breathing slows, allow it to match this rhythm. Inhale as if the air is arriving on its own. Exhale as if it is leaving without being asked. The wind does not announce itself. It does not demand attention. It simply moves, steady and kind. And within that movement, the hummingbird continues northward, not carried away, but calmly accompanied, as the world keeps flowing softly around both bird and listener alike. Some knowledge does not arrive through teaching. It does not need instruction, repetition, or explanation. It lives quietly within the body, waiting to be felt rather than learned. The hummingbird carries this kind of knowing. There is no moment when it is shown how to migrate. No voice explains direction or timing. No example is pointed out and repeated. And yet, when the season softens and the land begins to open, the bird responds with ease, as if remembering something it has never been told. This knowledge rests deep within the rhythm of the body, in the way wings lift without thought, in the way rest arrives exactly when it is needed, in the way movement resumes without hesitation. It is not precise. It does not need to be. It is flexible, patient, and deeply calm. The hummingbird does not practice its journey. It does not rehearse routes or correct mistakes. It moves forward gently, guided by sensation rather than certainty. Each small adjustment feels natural, as though the body itself is listening to the land and answering in quiet agreement. Around the bird, the world continues to offer guidance without instruction. Light shifts, flowers bloom, air changes temperature and texture. These are not lessons, they are invitations, and the hummingbird responds simply by being present. This kind of learning has no pressure attached to it. There is no right or wrong way to move within the season. There is only alignment, being close enough to the moment to feel what comes next. For the listener, this part of the journey offers reassurance. Not everything in life requires understanding. Not every step needs to be planned. Some things unfold best when the mind loosens its grip and allows the body to settle into trust. You may notice this kind of knowing in yourself. The way sleep arrives without being taught. The way breathing finds its rhythm without instruction. The way comfort returns when you stop trying to create it. The hummingbird continues its migration, guided by this quiet intelligence. It does not doubt the movement. It does not question the timing. It remains within the flow, allowing each moment to lead gently into the next. There is deep rest in this kind of trust, a sense that nothing essential will be missed, that the path will continue to appear as long as attention remains soft and open. As you listen, allow yourself to release the need to follow closely. You do not need to remember what has come before or anticipate what comes next. The story knows where it is going. The hummingbird moves forward without lessons, without instruction, without effort. And in doing so, it reminds us that sometimes the calmest journeys are guided not by knowing more, but by allowing what is already within us to move at its own quiet pace. As the hummingbird drifts onward, it does not travel alone. The sky, wide and patient, holds many quiet movements at once. None of them crowd each other. None of them hurry. Each follows its own gentle rhythm, layered softly into the same open air. Other birds move through this space as well, some gliding, some circling, some resting on invisible currents. Their paths cross without collision, like thoughts passing peacefully through the mind. No one leads, no one follows. The sky simply makes room for all of them. Insects float lazily beneath the light, tracing small wandering shapes that seem almost playful. Even clouds participate, shifting slowly, changing form without urgency, reminding everything below that movement does not require intention. The hummingbird notices none of this directly. It does not compare its flight to others. It does not measure speed or distance. It simply exists within a shared atmosphere where many lives move at once, each according to its own needs. This sharing of space is quiet cooperation. No signals are exchanged, no agreements are made, and yet everything fits. The air feels balanced, as though it has learned how to hold many small stories without tangling them together. Occasionally, the hummingbird pauses on a branch while others pass through the open sky above. There is no sense of missing out. Movement continues everywhere, even while stillness settles here. Both belong equally. For the listener, this moment offers a calming perspective. You are not separate from the world around you. You are moving within it, resting within it, sharing space with countless other quiet rhythms, breathing, wind, distant life, passing time. There's no need to keep pace. There's no need to stand apart. Like the hummingbird, you are already held within a space that allows you to be exactly as you are. The sky remains generous. It does not demand attention. It does not narrow or close. It continues to expand softly, giving room to all movement, all pauses, all gentle returns to rest. As your thoughts slow, imagine them drifting like small wings through open air, never colliding, never rushing, simply passing and fading as new ones take their place. The hummingbird lifts again when it feels right, sharing the sky for a little longer before moving on. No goodbyes are needed. The space remains unchanged and welcoming. Movement continues. Stillness remains available. And within the wide, shared sky, everything finds room to breathe, including you. As the hummingbird moves farther north, the feeling of the land changes again, not abruptly, but with a quiet freshness that feels almost tender. This is a place where spring is still new, still learning how to settle in. The air carries a cool softness, balanced gently between warmth and memory. Here, the first blooms feel especially delicate. Flowers open carefully, as if testing the light before fully trusting it. Leaves emerge pale and thin, catching sunlight in a way that feels hopeful rather than bold. The world is awake, but only just. The hummingbird enters this space without announcement. Its wings hum briefly, then grow still as it pauses near the first open blossoms of the season. Nectar tastes faintly different here, cooler, lighter, touched by the freshness of recently thawed ground. Feeding feels less like habit and more like discovery, though still calm, still unhurried. There's a sense of arrival, but not of completion. This place does not signal an ending. It feels more like the opening of a new chapter, written slowly, one quiet day at a time. The land does not rush to become summer. It remains patient, allowing spring to unfold gently. At night, the coolness deepens. The hummingbird finds shelter among branches just beginning to fill with leaves. Darkness settles softly, wrapping the landscape in stillness. The chill is mild, never sharp, and rest arrives easily, supported by the calm consistency of night. For the listener, this stage of the journey carries the feeling of stepping into something new, without pressure. A reminder that beginnings do not need excitement or effort. They can arrive quietly, almost unnoticed, and still be meaningful. Spring in these northern places does not ask to be admired. It simply exists, subtle, careful, and steady. The hummingbird responds by remaining attentive without effort, moving only when the land offers enough warmth and bloom to invite the next gentle drift. Days lengthen a little more here. Light feels clearer. Shadows soften quickly in the evenings. Everything seems arranged to encourage slow adjustment rather than rapid change. As you listen, imagine yourself in this new spring landscape. The air is cool and clean. The ground feels steady beneath you. Nothing demands your attention. There's time to settle, time to rest, time to simply be present. The hummingbird remains, hovering briefly, then resting again. There is no need to rush forward. This place is ready, and that is enough. Spring has arrived here quietly, and within its gentle newness, both bird and listener are invited to rest a while longer. In the places where spring has grown steady, the land begins to feel settled, not finished, not full, but comfortably awake. Light moves across fields and forests with ease, no longer tentative, no longer sharp. It rests on leaves and branches as if it belongs there, as if it has found its place. The hummingbird enters these breeding grounds quietly. There is no clear border, no moment that declares arrival. The shift is felt instead through comfort, through the way flowers appear more reliably, through the way shelter feels easier to find, through the way the air holds warmth gently, even as evening approaches. These are places chosen not for spectacle, but for balance. There is food nearby, offered steadily rather than all at once. There are branches that provide calm perches, leaves that soften the world with shade. Everything needed for daily life exists without excess. The hummingbird moves through this space slowly, hovering here, resting there. The pace remains unhurried. There's no urgency to begin anything new. Simply being present is enough for now. Light plays an important role here. Morning arrives softly, spreading across the land without glare. Afternoon light feels warm, but not heavy. Evening dims gradually, allowing the world to settle without surprise. This gentle rhythm supports calm routines, repeating day after day. For the listener, these breeding grounds offer a sense of suitability, a reminder that some places feel right not because they are perfect, but because they allow rest to coexist with movement, where nothing pushes too hard in any direction. At night, the hummingbird finds familiar shelter, resting in places that feel secure and quiet. Darkness arrives as a companion, not a barrier. Sleep comes easily, supported by the steady consistency of the land. There is no rush to build or prepare yet. Time remains generous. The season is still unfolding, and the hummingbird allows it to do so without interference. As you listen, imagine yourself resting within this same soft light, a place where days are predictable in the best way, where nothing needs to be solved, where tomorrow does not demand attention. Breeding grounds are not about beginnings or endings, they are about continuity, about finding a place where life can move forward gently, without strain. The hummingbird remains within this calm space, held by light that knows how to soften itself. And as the story continues, that softness lingers, quiet, steady, and easy to rest within. The journey does not end with a clear line. It simply slows, settling into the farthest places where warmth and bloom still arrive gently enough to welcome small wings. For some hummingbirds, this means drifting farther north, into regions where spring feels brief and precious. Here, the land opens only when it is ready. Snow retreats quietly. Soil darkens and softens. Flowers appear carefully, as if aware of how fragile this season can be. The hummingbird enters these northern edges with the same calm attentiveness it has carried all along. There is no sense of pushing farther than comfort allows. Movement stops naturally when the land offers enough light, enough warmth, enough nourishment to support daily life. These places feel wide and open. Skies stretch high. Air feels clean and cool, touched by lingering traces of winter that have not quite faded. Yet spring holds steady, offering long days and gentle afternoons that linger into evening. The hummingbird responds by settling rather than searching. Hovering slows. Rest becomes more frequent. Feeding continues in small, familiar rituals. There's no need to move farther. The land has quietly said, "This is far enough." For the listener, this moment carries a sense of natural completion, not an ending, but a pause where striving dissolves. A reminder that limits in nature are not barriers. They are invitations to rest where conditions feel right. Night in these northern places arrives softly, though it may linger shorter or longer depending on the season. Darkness feels clean and still. The hummingbird finds shelter among branches that are just beginning to fill with leaves, resting within a world that feels spacious and calm. This farthest reach of migration is not about distance achieved. It is about alignment found. The bird does not measure how far it has come. It simply exists within a place that supports its rhythm. As you listen, imagine reaching a similar point of ease, a place where effort fades, where movement no longer feels necessary, where being is enough. The land does not ask the hummingbird to go farther. The season does not insist on more. And so the journey rests here, gently, at the edge of what the earth allows. Let your thoughts rest there too, at a quiet boundary where nothing more is required, and where the simple act of staying feels peaceful, complete, and deeply calm. Eventually, movement fades so gradually that it becomes difficult to tell when it ended. The hummingbird does not stop traveling in a single moment. Instead, motion softens, stretches thinner, and finally dissolves into something quieter, presence. Days begin to resemble one another. Light arrives in familiar patterns. Flowers open and close with gentle predictability. Feeding happens without searching. Rest comes easily, woven naturally into the hours. The feeling of going somewhere gives way to the feeling of being somewhere. This stillness is not empty. It is full in a different way, full of small routines, full of gentle repetition, full of a sense that the world has settled into a rhythm that no longer asks for adjustment. The hummingbird hovers briefly, then rests. It moves only within a small, comfortable range now, never far from shelter or nourishment. Wings lift and fold without urgency. The body seems to exhale, releasing the subtle tension that comes with drifting forward day after day. Around it, the landscape mirrors this calm. The land no longer feels in transition. Spring has arrived fully enough to stay. Trees hold their leaves, flowers bloom reliably, insects move in soft, looping paths. Everything feels balanced, as if the season has found its steady center. For the listener, this part of the story invites a deep letting go, a sense that nothing more needs to unfold tonight. The idea of progress loosens. The need to follow each step fades. What remains is a quiet awareness of being held within a moment that does not ask to be improved. Stillness here is not the opposite of movement. It is what movement naturally becomes when it has gone far enough. It carries the same gentleness, the same rhythm, only quieter. The hummingbird does not reflect on the journey. It does not look back or forward. It simply lives within the present landscape, responding to each small moment as it arrives, feeding, resting, breathing. As your own thoughts slow, allow them to settle in the same way. You do not need to trace the path you followed to get here. You do not need to imagine what comes next. Let the sense of stillness deepen. Let motion soften completely. The journey has not disappeared. It has become calm enough to rest within. And in this quiet state, where movement becomes stillness, you may find that sleep feels closer, easier, and perfectly natural to enter. Arrival in the natural world is rarely announced. It does not arrive with sound or signal. It settles in quietly, almost unnoticed, like light filling a room without anyone turning on a lamp. The hummingbird does not know that it has arrived. There is no internal marker, no sense of completion. Instead, there is ease, a gentle continuity between one day and the next. The land provides what is needed without effort, and life flows forward without requiring change. Feeding happens close to where the bird rests. Flowers bloom reliably, opening and closing with the steady rhythm of daylight. Shelter remains nearby. Nights arrive calmly, and mornings return without surprise. Nothing feels temporary anymore. Nothing feels unfinished. This is the quiet success of arrival, not reaching a destination, but finding a place where movement is no longer necessary, where drifting forward becomes optional rather than instinctive, where staying feels as natural as going once did. The landscape reflects this completion in subtle ways. The season has settled into itself. Growth continues, but slowly now. Leaves deepen in color. Stems strengthen gently. The world feels held together by repetition rather than change. For the hummingbird, this success is not celebrated. It is lived. The body remains light. Wings continue their gentle work. Rest and motion alternate without thought. The journey dissolves into daily life. For the listener, this moment offers a soft reassurance. Not all successes need to be recognized to be real. Some of the most meaningful arrivals happen quietly, when the need to move on simply fades away. You may notice this feeling at times in your own life, when effort lessens, when striving softens, when the urge to reach for something else grows quiet. These moments do not demand attention. They ask only to be allowed. The hummingbird continues its days without reflection. There is no urgency to mark time. The present moment stretches comfortably, supported by a landscape that feels stable and kind. As you listen, allow this sense of quiet success to settle into you as well. You do not need to label it. You do not need to hold on to it. Let it exist gently, like a warmth lingering after the sun has lowered. Arrival does not end the story. It simply allows the story to rest. And in that rest, where nothing more needs to happen, sleep can arrive easily, carried in on the same calm rhythm that brought the hummingbird home. Long after wings have settled and movement has softened into routine, the land continues to remember. It remembers not in thoughts or images, but in patterns, in timing. In the quiet way one season prepares itself for the next, the earth holds these memories gently, without effort, without needing to be aware of them. In places where hummingbirds return year after year, flowers seem to know when to open, not because they are waiting for a bird, but because they are responding to the same slow signals, light, warmth, moisture, that guide small wings northward. The land and the hummingbird speak the same quiet language, learned over countless seasons of gentle repetition. Soil warms gradually beneath the surface. Roots stir. Buds swell invisibly long before they appear. None of this is rushed. None of it is delayed. It happens when the land remembers how to be spring. The hummingbird moves within this memory without noticing it, feeding from blooms that feel newly opened, yet strangely familiar, resting on branches that have held small bodies before. The place feels ready, not because it has been prepared intentionally, but because it has done this many times already. This remembering is not precise. It does not repeat itself exactly. Some years are warmer, some cooler, some quieter, but the overall rhythm remains, flexible enough to adapt, steady enough to guide. For the listener, this part of the story offers a comforting thought, that the places we return to, whether landscapes, rooms, or moments of rest, often hold a quiet familiarity, even when we cannot explain why. They remember us not as individuals, but as patterns of presence. The land does not cling to the past. It does not resist change. It carries memory the way water carries reflections, briefly, gently, and without holding on. As evening arrives, shadows stretch across fields that have hosted many seasons. Light fades slowly. The hummingbird settles into rest once more, supported by a place that feels both new and deeply known. Allow yourself to imagine that kind of remembering around you, a sense that the ground beneath you has held rest before, that the air knows how to soften, that night understands how to arrive gently. You do not need to remember anything yourself. The land is already doing that work. In its quiet way, the earth holds the story of seasons returning, of small wings drifting home, and of rest arriving again and again, just as it is needed. There is a kind of intelligence in the natural world that never rushes. It does not measure success by speed. It reveals itself through timing, quiet, patient, and remarkably gentle. In the places where hummingbirds now rest, nothing arrives too early. Flowers do not open before the air is ready to hold them. Leaves do not spread wide until light can support their growth. Warmth settles gradually, allowing every small life to adjust without strain. The hummingbird lives inside this careful timing. It does not arrive ahead of the season, nor does it lag behind. It simply appears when conditions feel balanced, when nectar flows steadily, when nights remain calm enough for rest, when days stretch just long enough to feel generous. This balance is not calculated, it is sensed. Light changes first, almost imperceptibly. Then temperature follows, softening the air. Moisture moves through soil and stem. Each signal waits for the others. Nothing forces its turn. Everything listens. The hummingbird responds with the same quiet awareness. Feeding happens when flowers are open. Rest comes when shadows deepen. Movement resumes only when the land offers more than it withholds. Timing feels like cooperation rather than decision. For the listener, this intelligence of timing offers reassurance. Life does not require constant effort to be aligned. Many things unfold best when allowed to happen in their own order, when pressure is released and attention softens. You may notice this timing in your own body, how sleep arrives more easily when you stop trying to invite it, how rest deepens when the day has been allowed to finish naturally, how calm returns when you no longer push toward it. The land does not hurry the hummingbird into action. It does not delay it unnecessarily. It simply creates conditions where movement and stillness alternate comfortably, like breathing in and out. As evening approaches, light fades without urgency. The hummingbird settles again, trusting the rhythm it has followed all along. There is no sense of missing anything, no sense of arriving late. The intelligence here is quiet. It does not announce itself. It works best when unnoticed. Allow that same gentle timing to guide you now. There is no need to be awake longer than feels natural. There is no need to fall asleep quickly. Rest will arrive when it is ready. The land knows when to soften. The hummingbird knows when to stay. And you too are held within a rhythm that understands exactly when it is time to let go. When you look closely at a hummingbird resting among flowers, it can seem almost invisible against the vastness of the landscape. So small, so light, so easily overlooked. And yet, this tiny presence is woven into patterns far larger than itself. Patterns that stretch across valleys, forests, and seasons. Each visit to a flower is brief and gentle. A hover, a sip, a pause. Nothing dramatic happens. And yet, these small moments ripple outward quietly. Plants respond. Pollination continues. Growth moves forward without announcement. The land remains healthy not through grand gestures, but through countless tiny interactions that pass unnoticed. The hummingbird does not know the role it plays. It does not carry a sense of importance. It simply follows its rhythm, feeding where nourishment is offered, resting where shelter feels safe. In doing so, it becomes part of a larger pattern that holds many lives together. These patterns do not rely on any single creature. They are flexible, resilient, and calm. When one small life moves gently within them, the pattern adjusts, holds, and continues. Nothing breaks, nothing rushes to compensate. The system breathes. For the listener, this perspective offers a soft comfort. You do not need to be large to belong. You do not need to be noticed to matter. Like the hummingbird, simply existing within your own quiet rhythm is enough to contribute to the wider world. The land reflects this truth everywhere. Grass grows one blade at a time. Trees add rings slowly, year after year. Rivers shape valleys through steady persistence rather than force. Large changes emerge not from urgency, but from continuity. As the hummingbird rests, the world continues its gentle work around it. Insects drift, leaves stir, light moves across the ground. All of it feels connected, though nothing calls attention to the connection. This is how nature remains calm even while constantly changing. Each small life participates without needing to understand the whole. Balance emerges naturally when nothing tries to dominate the rhythm. As you listen, allow this idea to soften your thoughts. You do not need to carry the weight of the world. You do not need to see the full pattern to be part of it. Your presence, like the hummingbirds, is already woven into something larger and steadier than effort. Breathing continues. Time moves gently. The land holds everything together quietly. And within these large, patient patterns, the smallest lives, moving softly, resting often, find their place without strain, without hurry, and without ever needing to be more than they already are. Adaptation in the natural world rarely looks like struggle. More often, it feels like a quiet adjustment, so gentle it blends into the background of daily life. The hummingbird does not announce its adaptations. It does not brace itself against change or resist what arrives. Instead, it responds softly, allowing its rhythm to shift just enough to remain comfortable within the season as it unfolds. In these settled, northern places, days can feel different from one to the next. Some mornings are warmer, others cooler. Light may linger longer or soften sooner. The hummingbird meets each variation without effort, adjusting its movement and rest as naturally as breathing. Feeding times drift slightly earlier or later. Rest stretches longer when the air cools. Shelter is chosen intuitively, based on comfort rather than habit. None of these adjustments require thought. They happen quietly, guided by sensation rather than intention. This is the poetry of adaptation, not changing who you are, but allowing how you live to move gently with the world around you. Plants participate in this same softness. Leaves angle themselves toward light without strain. Stems grow stronger where the wind lingers. Flowers open and close in response to temperature and time. Nothing forces itself to remain the same when the conditions shift. The land itself adapts in this way. Streams swell or soften. Soil retains moisture or releases it slowly. Even the air changes its tone, carrying warmth or coolness as needed. For the listener, this moment offers relief. Adaptation does not have to feel demanding. It does not need to involve effort or urgency. Sometimes it is simply the willingness to remain present and responsive, to allow small changes without resisting them. You may notice this kind of adaptation in your own body as you rest. Breathing deepens when the room grows quiet. Muscles release when you stop holding them. Thoughts slow when they are no longer being followed. The hummingbird continues its days without marking these shifts. It does not try to preserve an earlier version of the season. It lives within what is offered now, trusting that adjustment is part of belonging. As evening approaches, light fades gently. The hummingbird finds rest again, adapting effortlessly to night's return. Darkness is not something to adjust to. It is simply another condition that invites stillness. Let this softness guide you as well. There is no need to hold on to any particular state. You can change gently, like the land does, without losing your sense of calm. Adaptation here is quiet and kind. It feels like flowing rather than bending. And within that flow, both hummingbird and listener remain at ease, moving softly, resting deeply, and letting the world shift around them without ever needing to hurry or resist. Spring does not belong to any one creature. It is not owned, directed, or controlled. It arrives instead as a quiet agreement, an understanding shared gently among land, light, water, and living things. In the places where hummingbirds now rest, this agreement feels complete. Flowers open at the right moment, not all at once, but in steady succession. Insects emerge without crowding the air. Trees offer shade as leaves slowly deepen in color. Nothing competes for attention. Everything participates. The hummingbird moves within this shared rhythm without effort. Its feeding aligns naturally with blooming cycles. Its resting fits easily into the pattern of day and night. There is no need to adjust sharply or push forward. The season holds space for small wings, just as it holds space for roots, rain, and wind. This cooperation happens quietly. No signal is exchanged, no coordination is required, and yet the harmony remains. Spring listens as much as it acts. It responds to soil temperature. It waits for light to linger. It moves at the pace the land can support. In return, plants, insects, and birds respond with gentle presence rather than urgency. For the listener, this shared agreement offers a sense of ease. You're not required to carry everything alone. Life often unfolds best when many small elements move together without pressure, when rest, effort, attention, and release are allowed to balance naturally. You may feel this in the way your body settles when the room grows quiet, in the way breath slows when nothing asks it to speed up, in the way calm arrives when you stop trying to create it. The hummingbird remains part of this collective rhythm. It does not stand out. It does not disappear. It simply belongs, moving when the season moves, resting when the land grows still. Evening arrives as part of the same agreement. Light fades gradually. Sounds soften. The world prepares itself for rest without instruction. The hummingbird follows, finding stillness in the same effortless way it found movement. There is comfort in knowing that nothing here is forced. Spring does not rush the hummingbird, and the hummingbird does not hurry spring. Each allows the other to exist fully. As you listen, allow yourself to feel included in this agreement as well. You do not need to hold the rhythm together. It is already steady. You only need to rest within it. Spring continues softly. Life cooperates quietly. And in this shared understanding, where nothing pushes and nothing resists, the world becomes a place where rest feels natural and sleep can arrive gently, just as it is meant to. There is a particular calm that comes from being somewhere that no longer asks questions of you. A place that feels known, not because it is remembered clearly, but because it welcomes you without hesitation. For the hummingbird, this calm settles in gently. The surrounding landscape feels steady now. Flowers open in predictable places. Branches offer reliable shelter. The air carries familiar warmth during the day and cool softness at night. Nothing surprises. Nothing demands adjustment. Movement becomes smaller here. The hummingbird no longer drifts far between rests. Hovering happens within a comfortable circle of space, where nourishment and stillness remain close together. Each day unfolds much like the one before, and that sameness brings ease rather than boredom. This familiarity does not dull awareness, it softens it. The bird remains attentive, but without alertness. The world feels safe enough to relax into. Even pauses feel complete, as though nothing important is happening elsewhere. The land reflects this sense of comfort. Paths of light repeat themselves across the ground. Shadows fall in expected patterns. Sounds, wind through leaves, distant water, faint insects, form a quiet backdrop that rarely changes. For the listener, this moment mirrors the feeling of returning to a place where your body knows how to rest. A room where you have slept before. A time of day when everything feels slower. Familiarity becomes a gentle anchor, allowing the mind to let go of unnecessary attention. The hummingbird continues its days without marking time, feeding and resting alternate naturally. Nothing signals that this rhythm should change. The season feels settled enough to hold it. As evening arrives, darkness gathers in the same soft way it did the night before. The hummingbird finds its resting place easily, without searching. Stillness deepens. The body releases the last traces of movement. Allow yourself to imagine this kind of familiarity surrounding you now, a space where nothing new is required, where the next moment will feel much like this one, calm and untroubled. There is peace in knowing where you are. There is comfort in not needing to move. The hummingbird rests on familiar ground, held by repetition that feels soothing rather than dull. And as this calm settles into the story, it invites you to rest more deeply as well, supported by the quiet reassurance of a world that knows how to remain gentle. In the natural world, cycles are not clocks. They do not count minutes or mark deadlines. They move instead with a patience that feels almost kind. Here, where the hummingbird has settled into familiar ground, the rhythm of life reveals itself through repetition rather than progress. Morning arrives, light spreads, feeding happens, rest follows. Evening softens everything again. Each day echoes the last, not as sameness, but as continuity. Nothing is rushing toward an end. Nothing is waiting for a beginning. The hummingbird lives fully inside this cycle. It does not sense time passing as something to measure. It experiences time as a flow, sometimes slow, sometimes barely noticed at all. Days expand and contract gently, shaped by light and rest rather than intention. Flowers bloom, fade, and return in sequence. Leaves deepen, then loosen, then begin again elsewhere. Insects appear, drift, and disappear without comment. The land moves forward without urgency, trusting that each phase will give way naturally to the next. This cycle does not push the hummingbird to act. It simply offers opportunities, moments to feed, moments to pause, moments to rest more deeply. The bird responds without resistance, fitting itself quietly into the pattern that surrounds it. For the listener, this gentle cycling offers reassurance. Life does not always need to advance. Sometimes it simply needs to continue. There is comfort in repetition when it is allowed to remain soft. You may notice this in your own body as you prepare for sleep. Breath repeats itself. Inhale, exhale, muscles loosen, thoughts slow, then repeat more quietly until they begin to fade. This too is a cycle. one that does not hurry you toward rest, but carries you there naturally. The hummingbird does not cling to one moment or anticipate the next. It allows each phase to arrive and leave without holding on. In doing so, it remains calm, balanced, and present. As dusk approaches, light dims in a familiar way. The body recognizes the signal without effort. Rest follows gently, as it has many times before. There is deep peace in trusting cycles that do not rush, in knowing that nothing essential will be skipped, in allowing time to pass without feeling pushed along by it. Let yourself rest within this understanding now. There is no need to arrive anywhere else tonight. Like the hummingbird, you are already within a cycle that knows how to slow down, one that carries you softly, steadily, and without urgency toward deeper calm and sleep. Slowness in nature is not the absence of movement, it is the presence of awareness. In the quiet rhythm of these settled days, the hummingbird moves slowly not because it must, but because nothing asks it to move faster. Hovering becomes unhurried. Rest lasts as long as it needs to. Even the smallest actions, turning on a branch, adjusting feathers, lifting into the air, feel softened as if wrapped in patience. This slowness reveals details that hurry would miss. The way light filters through leaves at slightly different angles each morning. The way flowers offer nectar steadily rather than all at once. The way the air cools gently in the evening, signaling rest without instruction. The hummingbird lives within these details effortlessly. It does not seek them out. They simply appear when time is allowed to stretch. Slowness becomes a kind of teacher, showing that nothing important is lost when movement eases. In this calm pace, energy is conserved naturally. There is no strain, no urgency to gather more than is needed. The body remains balanced, supported by a world that is slowed alongside it. For the listener, this lesson is quiet, but profound. Slowness does not mean falling behind. It means being close enough to the moment to feel supported by it. When the pace softens, the mind no longer needs to race ahead or look back. You may notice how your breathing changes when you stop trying to control it, how thoughts lose their sharpness when they are not followed closely, how rest arrives more easily when there is nothing left to accomplish. The hummingbird continues its days without effortful intention. It has traveled far without rushing. It has arrived without striving. Now it remains present, moving gently within a world that no longer asks for speed. As evening approaches once more, the lesson of slowness becomes embodied rather than understood. Light fades slowly, sounds soften. The body responds by growing still. Allow yourself to take this lesson in the same way, not as something to remember, but as something to feel. You do not need to change anything. You do not need to slow down deliberately. Simply let go of speed. Let moments lengthen. Let stillness arrive naturally. The hummingbird rests, teaching nothing directly, yet offering everything quietly. And within that same slowness, sleep begins to feel less like an event and more like a gentle continuation, soft, steady, and perfectly timed. Earlier, a question rested quietly beneath the leaves. What calls a tiny bird to move when winter has not yet finished speaking? Now, after the long, gentle drift north, that question returns, not to be answered sharply, but to be held softly. the way you might hold a smooth stone found along a quiet path. The hummingbird does not ask this question anymore. It no longer needs to. The movement has already unfolded, guided by light, warmth, and the steady patience of the land. What once felt like a mystery has become a feeling, settled, embodied, calm. The call was never a sound. It was never a command. It was a collection of small signals arriving together, a day stretching a little longer, a flower opening slightly farther north, air growing softer in places that once felt too cool. None of these alone were enough. Together, they formed an invitation, and the hummingbird answered not with urgency, but with trust. Now, resting where the land feels right, the question no longer needs to move anything forward. It has completed its work. Like a tide that has reached its gentle peak, it begins to recede, leaving behind a sense of quiet clarity. For the listener, this return offers closure without finality. Some questions are not meant to be solved. They are meant to guide, then release. Once they have carried us where we need to go, they can be set down gently. You may notice similar questions in your own life. Thoughts that once nudged you forward, changes that unfolded slowly, almost without notice. Looking back, they feel less like problems and more like pathways. The hummingbird rests within this understanding without reflection. It does not revisit the journey. It does not replay the signals. It simply exists within the calm that followed movement. As evening deepens, the world offers its own quiet answer. Wind settles, light fades, the land grows still. Everything that needed to happen has already happened. Allow yourself to feel that same sense of completion now. You do not need to keep thinking. You do not need to keep following the story closely. The question has returned to the earth. The answer has become rest. And as the night continues to soften around you, you may find that sleep arrives not as something you must reach, but as something that gently finds you, just as the hummingbird found its way home, guided by nothing more than the quiet wisdom of the world itself. As the season settles fully into itself, there comes a time when even gentle movement feels complete. The air, which once carried subtle signals of change, now grows steady, not empty, not silent, simply calm, as if it has finished speaking for a while. The hummingbird senses this stillness without naming it. Wings rest more often now. Hovering is brief and unhurried. There is no need to explore farther or adjust more than necessary. The land feels balanced, and that balance invites quiet. Morning light arrives softly, without the crisp edge it once carried. It spreads evenly across leaves and petals, warming the air in a slow, reliable way. Afternoon follows with the same ease. Evening returns predictably, allowing the world to dim without surprise. In this steady atmosphere, the hummingbird's days feel complete as they are. Feeding happens close by. Shelter remains familiar. The body rests deeply at night, supported by a sense that nothing else needs attention. The air itself seems to participate in this calm. Breezes that once shifted direction now move gently, if at all. Leaves remain mostly still, stirring only enough to remind the world that life continues quietly. Sounds soften, blending into a low, even hum that does not ask to be noticed. For the listener, this stillness offers a gentle descent, a sense that the day has finished unfolding, that thoughts can settle without effort, that awareness can widen and soften rather than focus. You may notice how your own breathing responds when the air feels calm. Inhales lengthen slightly. Exhales release more fully. The body recognizes the signal without needing instruction. The hummingbird remains present within this quiet. There is no alertness now, only gentle awareness. Even rest feels deeper, less interrupted by small movements or shifts. This is not the end of motion. It is the resting point between cycles, a pause where everything feels held and supported. A moment where the world seems to say, softly, "You may rest now." As darkness approaches once more, allow yourself to sink into this still air. You do not need to follow the story any farther tonight. It will continue on its own, moving gently forward even as you rest. The air grows still. The land remains steady. And within this calm atmosphere, where nothing calls and nothing pulls, sleep becomes not a destination, but a natural extension of the quiet already surrounding you. Evening arrives without effort, spreading gently across the breeding grounds like a soft wash of color. The light does not fade suddenly. It eases its way out, allowing the land to settle one shade at a time. Greens deepen, blues grow richer, shadows stretch and then rest. The hummingbird notices this change not as an ending, but as a familiar transition. The day has offered enough. Feeding has been steady. Movement has been light. Now the world begins to lower its voice. Across fields and forest edges, the air cools just slightly. Not enough to disturb, only enough to refresh. Leaves hold stillness between them. Flowers close their faces calmly, as if turning inward for the night. Everything seems to agree that it is time to slow. The hummingbird finds a resting place that feels exactly right, neither hidden nor exposed, simply secure. Wings fold gently, feathers settle. The small body becomes almost indistinguishable from the quiet shapes around it. Light continues to soften. The sun slips lower, and with it goes the last sense of direction or task. There's no more north to follow, no more movement to consider. Evening holds everything evenly. For the listener, this moment offers a sense of completion, not a conclusion, but a natural rounding of the day. You may feel your own awareness loosening, no longer needing to track or follow. The story moves into the background, becoming atmosphere rather than narrative. Sounds grow fewer and farther apart. A faint movement of air, a distant insect, a soft rustle that passes without meaning. Silence does not arrive fully, but it thickens, becoming something you can rest within. The breeding grounds, now wrapped in dusk, feel deeply settled. This is not a place of preparation or anticipation. It is a place of presence. Life continues quietly, held by repetition and familiarity. As darkness deepens, stars may begin to appear, or clouds may gather softly overhead. Either way, the sky feels wide and untroubled. The land beneath it remains calm and receptive. Allow yourself to rest in this evening scene. There is nothing left to notice closely, nothing left to understand. Let the colors fade gently behind your closed eyes. Evening has arrived everywhere at once. Movement has softened into stillness. And as the breeding grounds settle fully into night, the quiet invites you to do the same, letting the day release you and allowing sleep to approach without being asked. There comes a moment when the idea of following gently dissolves, not because the path has ended, but because the need to move along it has faded. The hummingbird rests now within a world that feels complete. There are no new signals to respond to, no changes asking for attention. The land holds steady, offering the same quiet reassurance it has all along, feeding, resting, breathing. These simple rhythms continue without needing to be noticed. Movement still exists, but it has become small enough to blend into stillness. A slight shift of feathers, a subtle adjustment on a branch. Even these motions feel optional, more like the body settling than doing. The air remains calm. Night deepens evenly without interruption. Darkness does not arrive as absence, but as presence. Soft, full, and supportive. The world feels wrapped rather than dimmed. For the hummingbird, there is nothing left to follow. The instinct that once leaned northward now rests. The quiet awareness that guided movement has found its place within calm routine. The body understands that everything needed is already here. For the listener, this moment invites a similar release. You no longer need to follow the story closely. You no longer need to imagine the journey. It has unfolded gently, and now it can remain in the background, like a memory that does not need revisiting. Thoughts may still drift by, but they no longer ask for attention. They pass softly, like clouds moving through a night sky that remains unchanged beneath them. You do not need to hold on to any of them. The land does not expect wakefulness. The night does not demand awareness. Everything has softened into a state where effort would feel unnecessary. Breathing continues naturally. The body grows heavier, supported. The sense of direction dissolves completely. Nothing more needs to happen. Nothing more needs to be followed. The hummingbird remains at rest, secure within the quiet. The world continues gently, whether it is observed or not. And within this moment, where there is no path ahead and no path behind, sleep finds its way in naturally. Allow yourself to remain here. No movement, no intention, just the calm understanding that the journey has settled into stillness, and that rest is no longer something to approach. It is already present, holding you softly as the night continues on its slow, quiet way. As night deepens, the last traces of daylight loosen their hold on the world. Light does not disappear suddenly. It thins, becoming softer and more transparent, until it rests only as a memory on the edges of leaves and branches. The breeding grounds feel hushed now. Colors have retreated into gentle shadows. Greens and browns blend together quietly, no longer asking to be distinguished. Shapes soften, losing definition in a way that feels comforting rather than uncertain. The hummingbird remains still, wings folded, body light and settled. It does not notice the fading light as something leaving. It experiences it as a deepening calm, a signal that nothing more is required. Leaves overhead hold the last warmth of the day. They release it slowly, offering a gentle shelter that feels almost like a held breath finally exhaled. Air cools just enough to invite deeper rest. For the listener, this moment mirrors the feeling of eyes closing naturally, not forced, not decided, simply allowed. The mind begins to dim its sharp edges, letting thoughts blur into one another. Light continues to fade everywhere at once, across fields, along forest edges, over water that reflects only darkness now. smooth and undisturbed. Nothing resists this change. Nothing rushes it forward. The land understands how to let go of brightness. It has practiced this release countless times. Each evening arrives slightly differently, yet the letting go remains familiar and safe. The hummingbird rests within this dimming world, its small presence held gently by the quiet shapes around it. There is no awareness of nightfall as an event, only the steady continuation of rest. Allow your own awareness to soften in the same way. You do not need to follow images clearly now. Let them fade. Let them lose detail. Light is no longer needed. The day has given enough, and as the leaves hold the last traces of warmth, the night settles fully, inviting you to drift deeper into stillness, supported by the quiet understanding that nothing else needs your attention now. As the night settles more deeply, the world exhales, not in a way that can be heard clearly, but in a way that can be felt softly, evenly, and without effort. A gentle evening wind moves through the breeding grounds. It does not travel with direction or purpose. It drifts, brushing lightly against leaves, passing between branches, stirring the air just enough to remind the land that it is still alive and resting. The hummingbird remains motionless, yet aware. The wind moves around its small body without disturbing it. Feathers lift almost imperceptibly, then settle again. There is no need to adjust. The air knows how to pass gently. This wind carries no message. It does not signal change. It simply accompanies the quiet. Across the landscape, the same breath moves everywhere at once. Fields feel it as a soft ripple. Trees respond with the faintest whisper. Water receives it as a barely visible shimmer before returning to stillness. Everything accepts the movement without reacting to it. For the listener, this moment offers an easy rhythm to follow. The wind arrives like a slow breath in. It passes like a long breath out. No pause is forced between them. The body recognizes this pattern instinctively. Breathing begins to mirror the world outside. Inhales lengthen without effort. Exhales release fully, as if nothing is being held back anymore. Muscles loosen. The sense of weight increases gently, grounding the body into rest. The hummingbird's presence feels almost symbolic now, a small life resting fully within the calm breath of the land. Nothing presses against it. Nothing pulls it away. It is simply held, suspended between stillness and the faint movement of air. The wind continues its quiet passage, never growing stronger, never disappearing entirely. It remains steady, like a companion that does not need conversation to feel present. As you listen, allow this breath of the evening wind to move through you as well. You do not need to control it. You do not need to follow it closely. Let it exist around you, doing the work of calming without asking anything in return. The land breathes. The air moves gently. The hummingbird rests completely. And within this shared breath, slow, steady, and kind, sleep draws closer, not as something to reach for, but as something already forming naturally, carried softly on the quiet wind of the night. In the deep quiet of night, even the smallest wings learn how to be still. The hummingbird rests now without effort. Wings that once carried it across wide landscapes are folded close, held gently against a body that feels light and secure. There is no tension left in the feathers, no readiness required. Movement has completed its purpose and softened fully into rest. Around this small resting place, the world remains calm. Leaves barely move. The air feels settled, neither warm nor cool enough to be noticed. The darkness is even, without sharp contrasts, allowing everything to blend into a single, peaceful presence. Wings at rest are different from wings in motion. They no longer shape the air. They no longer respond to light or breeze. They simply exist, quiet and complete, having done all they needed to do. The hummingbird's body grows very still. Breathing continues softly, so subtle it feels more like a rhythm of the night than a separate action. The heartbeat slows into a gentle steadiness, carried by the calm that surrounds it. For the listener, this image offers deep reassurance. Even what carries you through the day, your thoughts, your attention, your effort, can rest now. Nothing needs to stay alert. Nothing needs to be prepared. The night does not ask for movement. It invites release. You may imagine your own shoulders softening, as if wings you did not know you were holding have finally folded in. The muscles around your neck and back loosen. The sense of effort drains away quietly, without being noticed. The hummingbird remains held within this stillness, perfectly balanced, needing nothing more. The world does not intrude. Time feels suspended, as though it has learned to move around rest rather than through it. There is no story to follow now, no imagery to hold sharply. Let everything blur gently, like shapes seen through closed eyelids. Wings are meant to move, but they are also meant to rest. In this moment, rest is enough. As the night continues to deepen, allow yourself to sink further into this image of complete stillness. The journey has softened into quiet presence. Nothing stirs, nothing calls, and with wings folded and the world at ease, sleep settles naturally, light, steady, and untroubled, holding both the hummingbird and the listener within the same gentle, unbroken calm. As the night deepens further, the land itself seems to settle into a final, comfortable position, not collapsing into silence, not freezing into stillness, but easing, like a body finding the most natural way to rest. Across the breeding grounds, everything grows quieter in the same gentle way. Soil releases the warmth it held through the day. Grass lies softly against the earth. Trees stand without effort, their branches no longer responding to light or wind, simply existing in calm balance. The hummingbird remains at rest, indistinguishable now from the quiet shapes around it. Its presence blends into the landscape so completely that it feels less like a separate being and more like a part of the night itself. Nothing shifts abruptly. Nothing interrupts. Even sound seems to settle. The faint movements that once lingered at the edges of awareness fade into a low, steady hush. The land does not become empty. It becomes whole, complete in its quiet. This settling is not an ending. It is a deepening. A moment when everything that has moved throughout the day finds its place and stops needing attention. For the listener, this mirrors the feeling of sinking more fully into rest. The body grows heavier, supported by whatever holds it. Muscles release in small waves. Thoughts slow until they no longer form clear shapes. You may notice that awareness itself feels wider now, less focused on any one thing. The edges of sensation blur. The sense of time softens. Nothing presses forward. The land knows how to do this. It has practiced settling for as long as it has existed. Every night, it releases the day without resistance, trusting that morning will arrive when it is ready. The hummingbird rests within this wisdom, its small body perfectly aligned with the stillness around it. There is no vigilance left, no readiness, only gentle being. As you listen, allow this settling to happen within you as well. You do not need to guide it. You do not need to follow it. Let gravity do its quiet work. Let stillness spread naturally. The land has settled. The night is complete. And in this deep, unbroken calm, where everything has found its place, sleep holds you easily, steadily, and without effort, just as the earth holds the resting hummingbird beneath the quiet sky. In the deepest hours of night, there is a feeling that nothing stands apart anymore. Land, air, wing, and stillness blend into one continuous presence, quiet, steady, and complete. The hummingbird rests within this flow without awareness of it. Its small body is no longer a traveler, no longer a participant in movement or change. It is simply part of the wild itself, carried gently by the same calm rhythm that moves through soil, through trees, through the slow turning of the earth. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls away. Breath moves softly, almost imperceptibly, like the rise and fall of distant water. The night holds everything evenly. Darkness feels full rather than empty, as if it is made of rest itself. Around the resting bird, the land continues its quiet work. Roots draw moisture, leaves hold stillness. The air remains calm, untroubled by direction or purpose. All of it flows together without effort, without awareness, without need for attention. This is the motion the wild offers, a motion that does not rush, does not strive, does not insist. It flows through every living thing, whether it is moving or resting, waking or sleeping. For the listener, this is the moment to let go completely. There is no need to hold on to the story, no need to picture the landscape clearly. Everything has softened into a single, gentle experience. You may feel your body sinking further into rest, supported without being held. Breathing finds its own pace. Thoughts drift and fade, no longer forming words or images. Awareness loosens, spreading wide and quiet. The hummingbird remains folded into the night, safe and untroubled. The journey has dissolved into stillness. The season continues on its own, steady and patient, requiring nothing more. This is the place where stories end, not with conclusion, but with quiet continuation. The wild does not stop when attention fades. It flows on, carrying rest, carrying rhythm, carrying sleep. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion. Let the words dissolve now. Let the images fade. Let the night carry you gently onward. Nothing more is needed.